Have you ever wondered how Christianity actually began? It might surprise you to learn that it didn't start as a brand new religion. Instead, it was born as a dynamic and sometimes controversial movement within the rich and diverse world of first-century Judaism. This is the story of a family disagreement that changed the world, a tale of how two faiths, once intertwined, went their separate ways. To understand this split, we need to travel back in time, to a land under Roman rule, filled with a powerful sense of anticipation. For centuries, the Jewish people had been waiting for a Messiah, a figure anointed by God. But what kind of Messiah were they expecting? For many, the hope was for a warrior king, a new King David who would drive out the Roman legions and restore Israel's earthly kingdom to its former glory. They yearned for political freedom and national sovereignty. But that wasn't the only vision. Other Jewish texts from the time spoke of a different kind of Messiah, more cosmic, heavenly figure. This Messiah wouldn't be a political ruler, but a priestly one, a celestial being who would usher in a new age, judge the world, and defeat the forces of evil. So, you had these two powerful streams of thought, one focused on an earthly kingdom, the other on a spiritual, heavenly one. This is the stage upon which Jesus of Nazareth enters history. So, why did Jesus' followers believe he was the Messiah, while the majority of their fellow Jews did not? This is the heart of the great disagreement. Jesus' followers saw him as the fulfillment of prophecy, but not in the way many had expected. He spoke of a kingdom of God, but it wasn't a kingdom you could find on a map. It was a spiritual reality, a kingdom of righteousness and peace that was at hand. This created a major conflict. When people looked at Jesus, they didn't see a conquering king overthrowing Rome. Instead, they saw a humble teacher from Galilee who was ultimately executed by the Roman authorities. For many, his crucifixion was proof that he couldn't possibly be the Messiah. A defeated Messiah was a contradiction in terms. But for his followers, the resurrection changed everything. It was the ultimate vindication, proving that Jesus was indeed the Messiah, but a spiritual, heavenly king who had conquered sin and death, not the Roman Empire. This initial disagreement was just the beginning. As the movement grew, a new debate erupted within the early Christian community itself. What should they do about non-Jews or Gentiles who wanted to follow Jesus? Did these new converts need to become fully Jewish first? Did they have to be circumcised and follow all the intricate laws of the Torah? Figures like the Apostle Paul argued passionately that they did not. He believed that faith in Jesus was what mattered, not adherence to Jewish law. This decision, championed at the Council of Jerusalem, opened the floodgates. Huge numbers of Gentiles began to join the movement, and over time, they started to outnumber the Jewish followers. This demographic shift began to change the culture and identity of the early church, slowly pulling it away from its Jewish origins. Then came a cataclysmic event that sealed the deal. In the year 70 CE, after a brutal Jewish revolt, Roman legions sacked Jerusalem and destroyed the Second Temple. This was the center of Jewish religious life, the place of sacrifice and pilgrimage. Its destruction was a profound trauma that reshaped Judaism forever. It also severed a critical link for the early Christians. With the temple gone and the original Jerusalem church scattered, the center of gravity for Christianity shifted decisively towards the Gentile world. Two cities like Antioch, Alexandria, and Rome, the two paths, which had once run side by side, now began to diverge more sharply. Over the next few centuries, both Rabbinic Judaism and a more Gentile-oriented Christianity developed their own distinct theological frameworks, rituals, and scriptures. The family had split, and the siblings were now walking in different directions, each carrying a part of their shared inheritance. But what if I told you there's a place where the echoes of that earliest, Jewish-flavored Christianity are still vibrantly alive, a tradition that offers a unique window into this ancient past? Let's travel south to the highlands of Africa to explore the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church. This isn't a recent branch of Christianity. It's one of the oldest Christian communities in the world. The story of its founding is legendary, tracing back to the treasurer of Queen Candace, who was baptized by the Apostle Philip in the Book of Acts. By the 4th century, Christianity had become the state religion of the Aksumite kingdom, making Ethiopia one of the first Christian nations on earth. Because of its unique geographical and historical position, the Ethiopian Church developed in relative isolation from the debates that were shaping Christianity in Rome and Constantinople. allowing it to preserve traditions that feel incredibly ancient. Walk into an Ethiopian Orthodox church and you'll immediately sense something different. The practices here reflect a deep continuity with the world of the Old Testament and early Jewish Christianity. One of the most unique traditions is the reverence for the tablet. Every church has a sacred inner sanctuary, the Holy of Holies, which houses a tablet replica of the Ark of the Covenant. These sacred objects are paraded during religious festivals like Timkat, wrapped in rich fabrics, in a ceremony that feels directly connected to the worship practices of ancient Israel. It's a living link to a time when the temple still stood. Furthermore, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church has its own distinct biblical canon, which is larger than that of any other church. It includes books like the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees, ancient Jewish texts that were widely read and respected during the Second Temple period but were eventually excluded from both the rabbinic Jewish and most other Christian canons. In Ethiopia, these books never went away. They are read, studied, and revered, offering us a glimpse into the literary world that Jesus and his first followers inhabited. From the dietary laws that echo Jewish kashrut to the practice of observing Saturday as a Sabbath alongside Sunday, the Ethiopian Church is a living museum of Christian origins. It's not a fossil, it's a dynamic, thriving faith for millions, but it carries within its DNA the memory of a time when the line between Jewish and Christian was not so clearly drawn. So, the story of Christianity's origin is not a simple one. It's a complex tale of shared roots, painful separation, and surprising continuity. It reminds us that history is never neat and tidy. By understanding this fork in the road, and by looking at ancient traditions like the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, we gain a much richer, more nuanced picture of where one of the world's largest faiths came from. We see not just the parting of ways, but also the deep, unbreakable connections that remain. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the past interesting, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more insights into history and faith. See you next time.